Tim, would you mind giving our invocation, please?
Okay. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance this morning in our proceedings today, and guide us in your way with our decisions, keeping the best interest of our city in your name. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Let's all recite the pledges. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, any member of the public may address the ODC board regarding any of its agenda items before or during the consideration of the item. Number 5 item, discuss and consider a resolution approving amending the amended and restated performance agreement by and between the Odessa Development Corporation and Walkman Trading Company, Inc. for the purpose of constructing necessary infrastructure improvements for a proposed light industrial park consisting of extension of Faudree Road and related sewer and water improvement from Yukon north to the industrial park. Do we have anybody? I thought we would have someone here to provide some technical information. I guess we don't this morning. I'm going to kind of give us a little bit of an orientation here. As you remember, and it's in your packet, we have an agreement with Walkman to provide up to $6.5 million in reimbursable expenses associated with the extension of Faudree Road that runs all the way to the industrial park that Larry Bell has agreed to. And apparently during the construction of the extension of Faudree Road, there was a portion of the existing Faudree Road that apparently does not meet the city specs. At the time that it was built many years ago, what I'm hearing from the city was that it did meet the specifications at the time, but does not and won't match up with the work that's already been done out there, and will not hold up under the traffic that's expected, particularly the commercial traffic. My understanding is that a proposal, a verbal proposal, has been provided by the contractor that's already out there. And one of the things that, if the board favorably considers the amendment, and if the council favorably considers this amendment, will give us an opportunity to take advantage of the contractor being on site, not having to remobilize later, which potentially will save some cost. The verbal proposal at this time is about $225,000 to revise and rehab that particular portion of Faudree that was in existence to match up with the existing work that's been done out there. The work that's been done to this point is expected to be about $25,000 under the limit. So if you think about $225,000, then the cost will exceed by about $200,000. We arbitrarily put an amendment to the agreement in here at capped at $7 million, just to provide a little bit of fudge factor in case anything else pops up, so that we don't have to go back. But the expectation is, rather than spending just under $6.5 million, which it would be within the limits of the contract, that we'll likely spend $200,000 more than that. So, and there, we've got some pictures in here, shows, you know, the section of the road that we're dealing with. We have a copy of the agreement, a copy of the suggested amendment. And again, the $7 million cap was an arbitrary number that we plugged in here, again, just to give us a little bit of a fudge factor. That's not the expectation of what we'll spend. So, again, I don't think it makes sense to not put this existing portion of Faudree on one side in the same condition as the new road. Again, we want longevity. We want to certainly get our money's worth with regard to being able to handle the traffic. We expect there to be commercial traffic. We expect that it's going to have some wear and tear, as you would expect by commercial traffic. So, any questions anybody has, or?
Looking at the pictures, I didn't get a chance to go out there, but is it a low area? Have any of y'all seen this exactly what we're talking about? Is it a floodplain? Because one of those parts is actually, water runs over. What it does rain, it stays underwater.
I don't know, there's the picture that they showed us, the picture that they showed us of what it looks, a cross-section of it, it just doesn't appear that it was ever constructed properly.
It looked like that's what it kind of looked like water ran over it and washed it out. That was what I was gathering. That's why I was asking.
That road is still intact, but what they showed us pictures of was picture from the side that showed the limited amount of asphalt that was poured there at that time.
So they're gonna have to tear this road up and redo it? Or are they just gonna add to it?
No.
To where this,
No, they would.
where this is graded out?
My understanding is, again, I wish we had
I
somebody
do too.
technical here, but.
Where are they?
There's one of the guys right there. He may know.
Hey, good morning, Board. Aaron
Morning,
Smith,
Al.
Assistant City Manager. Answer your question, that is not in a floodplain.
Okay.
Two, if you look at the cross-section of it, it really is just, it looks like, it doesn't look like, it's old standard, if you will. So the base isn't there like it would be if it were built today. The asphalt, thickness of the asphalt is different in today's standards than it was then. So what the curb and gutter would remain in place, and then what they would do is go in and remove basically the road. Put more material in for the roadbed, if you will, and then add the proper amount of asphalt to match up with the other side.
And going
About
from
2,000 square feet, I'm sorry, about 2,000 linear feet.
Going from about 2 inches asphalt to 6 inches asphalt.
I can't remember what the
that's
standard
just
is,
and that's
but
just-
it's substantially more than what's there now.
Yeah.
And yes, sir, and to the board's, I think to the question is, there's gonna be an awful lot of traffic out there
Mm-hmm.
with everything from not just the sports complex itself and the thousands of cars that would be there for that, but also when that industrial park is finished up out there to the north, there's going to be also a substantial amount of traffic as well. So bringing the road up to the current standards, I think, is pretty important.
So we're not repairing what was contracted.
No, sir.
We're upgrading what was already there to
Correct.
meet the rest of it.
Right, there was a section of the road that was not included in the original scope of work. Now it's pretty apparent that that needs to be brought up to the current level of standards, to the city standards.
Are you gonna go ahead and widen it while you're doing it?
Not going to widen it on
Is
this one,
2-lane, 4-lane, what?
but it'll match up to the other side, so it'll be the 2 lanes going, I guess, northbound there.
I guess the question on that would be, if you're expecting all this industrial traffic and heavy stuff, why aren't we planning farther ahead to make it 4 lanes to kind of stop the congestion?
Well, right, it would be 4 lanes, right? I mean, it's 4 lanes going, 2 lanes going north, 2 lanes coming south. So it's a 4-lane road,
All right.
for
Yeah,
sure.
This was originally, the last piece on Faudree that was a 2-lane road, and so that's going to be I guess, the northbound 2 lanes, and then we're matching it up with the southbound 2 lanes of new.
Correct. So on the west side of the project, this will match up the east side to the west side for that
Right.
approximately 2,000 linear feet.
Right. Any questions? I would entertain a motion. Again, arbitrarily, I think we have some questions and.
Were there comments?
Well, yeah, I have one more question. We're gonna vote. The last one on the change orders, it says that the mayor or the president of the ODC can authorize another, take that percentage, adds up to another $1.75 million without any authorization. So they can either.
That's currently
I
in
don't
the-
distrust anybody, but if we're gonna spend another $1.7 million on this project, I'd rather it have to come back through the committee again and let's see what's going on, because it's really, the last time somebody come in here and wanted some more money for something, none of their representatives came either. So it's really like, if you wanna do this, do they actually take the initiative to come in here and explain to us, especially the person that's receiving the money, should come in here and explain to us what they wanna do and why they wanna do it, other than, these are taxpayer dollars, which we're all in charge of trying to manage in the right way. So, that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve the money, but I don't like that paragraph, the last paragraph there of the change orders. That's just my thinking. I know we all have a different opinion about it, and David, it's not to say I distrust anyone, it's just the
But
fact that.
we probably need a little bit of legal help, but I
Yeah.
don't think that's what this is saying.
Well,
I
that's
think-
what I had a question about.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
it
what
said.
this is saying is that 25, that change orders could be approved, but they can't exceed the limit of the contract,
Okay,
of
see,
the
that's why I
agreement.
wanted
Can't do that.
Are you the
So-
attorney?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
At least some people think I am.
Well, since you're there's 2 of you in the room, so you better be careful.
I understand. Keith Stretcher, I'm the interim city attorney here. Yeah, I think the chair's got it right. What we're trying to do is just say we're not going to exceed 25% of the change order. And the way I interpreted that was 25% of the 500,000, not
Right.
25% of what you're saying.
7 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the math hit me cold, but I mean 10%, is 50,000. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that was the intent. We
But
didn't.
there's no authority to exceed the 7, if indeed
Right.
we vote to amend this to increase the limit from $6.5 million to $7 million, we can't exceed the $7 million.
Right.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I, in other words, that's the question I had. It looked like and read to me like anybody could say, well, we need another $1.7 million to finish this project. And one person could say, okay, here you
Yeah,
go.
can't do that.
I don't think that anybody that I've dealt with would spend 1.7 without coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I've been
I
involved in the
wouldn't.
gas industry all my life, and I've seen some of the
I
worst
wouldn't
businesses out there
recommend
you've
it.
ever seen.
I can tell you that. So
I will tell you though, the first iteration or the first word we got to discuss this, or that the city wanted, was going to be $2 million more.
Yeah.
And because they thought that's what they had been told or thought.
Right.
Anyway, the number of what it's going to take has been flanged up now
Yeah.
in writing. And that's why we met with them, David and I did, and it's not an estimate now. That is
Yeah.
so.
So why didn't they put that in
And
here?
you were there too.
Why isn't it in the package,
On the number?
the numbers?
Yes, that's what got me too.
well, I think it was a moving target, and I think that it, there's a lot of late meetings and a lot of, and I think the chair explained it's just, I don't know, fudge factor, whatever term you want to use. I mean, we didn't want to put 225 and come back a week or, a few weeks later and say, well, really it was 232.
Well, do they have a cost? Do they know what it's gonna cost to
They have a
do
good,
this?
they have a very good estimate of what it's gonna cost.
I would agree with that. That was an estimate based on material, and again, they know the linear feet, they know they're not putting in curb and gutter, and know that they're just redoing the base, they know that they're putting in the asphalt, so they put in quantities, and the back of the napkin estimate was the 220-something thousand.
And
So-
that's coming from the contractor,
Correct.
It is.
verified by the city staff. They had requested a written proposal. My guess is, again, I don't know, that they just hadn't received it yet, hadn't received the written proposal.
Is that the case, or?
That's the case, and
Yeah,
which is
we-
the reason why the need to have that little extra over
Yeah.
what was it, 225, I think you said.
Well, who is the contractor? Can that be disclosed?
That is.
His first name's Coy.
Hold on just a second, I remember, Jones Brothers.
Okay. And none of us went, ooh.
I think we have somebody that wants to make a comment.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Ronnie answered a lot of my question. I would direct your attention to the, it actually wasn't in the ODC packet online, but it was in the city council packet, because they're looking at this tonight. The way that paragraph reads, section 10, miscellaneous provisions, change orders, the mayor and the president of the Odessa Development Corporation are authorized to execute any change orders in a total amount not to exceed 25% of the total grant, as stated in section 4A and 5A of the agreement. So this goes back.
We have a legal opinion.
Okay, I understand
Okay,
that.
so-
I would just really suggest that you guys tighten that up. If, you can easily tighten that up, but in an amount not to exceed
There's
$7
no-
million.
There's no need to do that. The language in there, Jeff, is sufficient. You can interpret it the way
We've
you
heard
want
that
to,
many
but-
times from city council and other things, and then we get further down the road and it's like, oh my gosh, we didn't read that, we didn't understand that, that wasn't our understanding of it. I mean, I would just encourage you guys to be diligent and add it in. If that's what it is, that's what it is. It's up to $7 million. That would just be my suggestion to you guys. Make it clear, make it unequivocal. If it's up to $7 million, just stay up to $7 million.
It's clear as a bell to me.
Keith Stretcher again, interim city attorney. I don't know what else I can say to make it more clear. I'll give it another shot, but I think everybody understands it, so,
Anybody,
Counselor,
anybody have any
yeah,
questions?
I think it's clear to me. Thank you.
Are you good with that, Gavin?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Do we owe you money for legal advice?
I have my office signature bill sitting.
We'll raise your monthly consideration for being on this board.
You're right, yeah.
I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I just want to speak as well, if that's okay.
Okay.
You woke up this morning and said, I just really hope Chris Crow comes up here and speaks to us today.
Oh, we knew you were coming.
Well, that's good, Tim. I appreciate that. The concerns I have with this project, and if you'll remember, I was one of the folks that even brought this project forward. It's a
remember
fantastic project.
Because it never came through compliance.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's a great point. So it's not that. My question is we're kind of setting a precedent here, and it started with Bass Pro, and here we are on this, to where we're coming back and giving more money to projects that have already been approved by ODC, and the numbers didn't come from us, but they actually came from the developer. So moving forward, if every project is going to cost a developer a little more money, are we going to give them more money? Developers do these projects not just out of philanthropy, and don't get me wrong, I think Mr. Bell is one heck of a philanthropist, but they do it because these projects make a significant amount of money. The land surrounding this project in itself is going to go from being worth what, 30, 40,000 an acre to 300,000, 400,000 an acre. So in the end, the job for Odessa Development Corporation to me is to spur economic development, not to pay for all of the economic development. Developers take on an inherent risk in doing these projects themselves, and the risk reward is quite substantial to the developer. So in the grand scheme of things, is another $225,000 going to make a big difference? And does ODC have the funds? Sure. Is it going to serve the public? Yes, that argument can also be made. But looking forward on all these projects, I just want you guys to use caution, because it just seems like these developers keep coming back and just say, oh, I've got this change order. Oh, this is something unforeseen. That's a risk in the project moving forward. And to use Mr. Stretcher's term, a fudge factor, a $500,000 fudge factor is a big fudge factor. Another 10% of that 225,000, or another 22.5 or 25,000 might be a little more reasonable. But you guys are leaving a big fudge factor on the table here. I'd like to see that tighten down just a little bit also. And as you said, in your prayer, Mr. Edgman, we want to do what's best for the taxpayers of Odessa. Leaving a $500,000 fudge factor on the table, I don't personally think is what's best for the city of Odessa. And doing your due diligence and doing your fiduciary liability to tighten that down a little bit, I think would really benefit the citizens. I'd like to see that. Again, I think it's a good project. I think it's going to benefit the citizens of Odessa, but to be good stewards, I think we can tighten that up a little bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. I'd entertain a motion.
So made
And what's your motion?
to approve the.
Amendment as
Yeah,
presented?
Yeah, approve the amendment as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the amendment as presented. Any further discussion?
By us approving up to the 7 million, what are we gonna get from the contractor when they want us advance? I mean, are we saying we're gonna spend up to 7 million, you just bring us the invoices?
We expect an invoice close to $225,000. The developer will pay that, submit that invoice to us for reimbursement.
We've already been doing progress payments to Wackerman.
Yeah. But we can't exceed what was approved originally. That's the 7 million, correct?
Originally,
Six-
6.5,
6.5.
and they're almost
Okay.
there, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen any numbers, but that's
Yeah.
what y'all have told me.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, in my mind, is it carte blanche? They're gonna get $7 million as long as they come up with enough invoices, or do we need to see if they're telling us it's 225,000? Why are we giving them another 250 fudge factor? It's
I mean, the board could, again, we arbitrarily came up with that in anticipation of that there might be something else that comes up. We wanted to cover it, not have to come back and approve it. If the board is not comfortable with doing that, we can approve the number that we want to. So, but again, we've got a motion for a $7 million cap. If the board is not comfortable with that, then we can do something different. But I have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments, or, I mean, is there a suggestion for a different number?
Well, I'd like to see what they're doing, like Thomas said. I mean, I'd really like to see where it's at versus we're gonna go ahead and spend this other when you get it.
What do you mean, see where it's at?
Well, we've given them that. And what you're saying is, do they actually, how much are they actually gonna need? And he said they drew it on a napkin. I don't really like that idea either.
I
I've
didn't
drawn
get
something.
that
I think
feeling
I-
at the meeting we had.
So
that it was
it's just
drawn up.
general expression, back of napkin
Well, I know
estimate
it's
based
gonna
on,
be,
but
you
it,
understand oil and gas,
yes,
they've
sir.
been being
But
able
I,
to do is
but
draw
I
it
also
back
said
around.
it was based on
Yeah.
linear foot and quantities through the engineering department. So, and the engineering department here at the city would be happy to review that before it's executed also, to make sure that quantities match up with engineers' opinion on cost.
Well, one of the things we talked about before, and I'll try to hurry because I know everybody has a lot, was we talked about this before when we approved some of the payments to the Bass Pro for their reimbursements. Nobody checked to see what was done, and I brought that up myself. I said, have we actually looked to see what has actually been done? And everybody says, no, they just get invoices and here you go. It's just, are we this far along in this project?
The city would be
happy before your time, so. I
Understood, and the city would be more than great, we'd be happy to help with this project. So for instance, when the formal invoice comes in, Joe can take a look at that, take a look at the site, make sure that quantities match up with price, and then if he's okay with it, then we'd certainly let you know.
So the city thinks, looking at their plans, they can do this for the 225. It meets y'all's guidelines.
Well-
Because I have customers that try to meet city guidelines, and then it comes back, oh, you need to add this, and you need to add this. And it's not in the original budget
Yeah.
because it didn't meet city requirements.
And I'm not sure who those customers are or anything like that, but what I can tell you is if Jones Brothers gives us an invoice, Joe can take a look at that invoice and determine whether or not it makes sense based on quantities.
So is there a number that you're comfortable with?
That's the number we're talking about now.
How do you know when you don't see the numbers? I don't know. You're sort of asking me like
Yeah.
to loan you money. I mean, that's what I do for a living, loan people money. I got to see numbers before I approve it, normally. So that's one of my questions is the contractor going to come back later and say, we need more? Are we done?
The contractor could come to us and tell us that this is the price for this project, to take the subgrade out, to replace it, and to put in asphalt and be done with the project. That's pretty straightforward in my mind, but they can certainly do that. So Jones Brothers would give a formal quote and a formal proposal. Joe can take a look at it and make sure that the quantities match up with his estimates, and then they move forward.
Joe being Joe Tucker.
Joe Tucker, sorry.
With the city staff.
Okay.
City engineer, yes, sir.
So, yeah, he's the one who has interfaced with the contractor. He's the one who's done, I'm guessing he or somebody in his staff has done the calculations associated
Correct.
with.
Again, just understanding how many linear feet it is and then what the quantities are and then the cost for quantities.
Yeah, he's the one that has requested the written proposal, but apparently has not received it yet.
Go ahead, Ms. Peggy.
I think maybe a little bit of clarification on this might be in order. When I got on ODC, I didn't even know what the Walkerman project was, and I think nobody but maybe you did. I don't know.
It was before me, but I read up on it.
You know, because this whole project from the beginning didn't go through the normal course of doing things. It didn't start at compliance and come to ODC and be approved and go to the city. Okay, so it didn't start the way that would have educated a lot of us about it. When they came back and asked for more money, the city was just going to do this, and they have the right to. They were just, I think it was on their agenda. I mean, they don't have to ask us to approve this. If we don't approve this, they can still do this. And we met, David and Tim and I met and talked about the fact that we want this project to get back into the normal process. We don't want the city to just go in and change our contracts because they can. And so that was the reason that we met with them. That's the reason that we called this meeting this morning, so we could approve it before they do tonight, which puts us back in a, we had lots of questions about it. The concern was exactly what you voiced, Chris, that, people don't get to just keep coming back.
Right.
And I think we all agree on that. And but this project is so far into it, and this is not a whole lot of money to complete it. But what I want you to know is that the reason for doing this, and our questions are all good, the reason for doing this is because it's going to happen. We interjected ourselves into this process because we're supposed to be in the process. So how this affects the future and all those sort of things are something that ODC needs to discuss. But on this project, we sat in a meeting with us. They told us that 225,000 he felt sure was the number. I thought he was going to have the exact number the next day because he said, I'll get it in writing. And, you know, so we put some extra in it, really not anticipating that we're going to need it. But I mean, we've shared with you guys the information they gave us, and it's late in the game. It's got to be done now, and it's late in the game for us to have a whole lot of questions about it. I'm just being candid about
I
it.
understand.
Now also, isn't it, they're out there in the process of doing that. That's another reason why we have.
Yeah, they're out there, yeah.
If we wait and make them reload, and that's just gonna cost us more money. And if we're gonna do it, I think it's prudent that we go ahead and get this approved to the certain amount, 'cause we're not going over it. I mean, we've got some numbers, we've got some guidelines, and but I think it's because of the situation and the timing of all of it.
That's correct.
And then next time, just for the record, anytime that if something like this comes up, your people should be up here explaining it, talking to us. I don't know where they are today.
With a solid number.
Yeah, that's the biggest deal. If we had what we thought we were going to have this morning, this would be kind of I think we would up here we could satisfy everything.
So let me ask a question. Would you be, if you were going to change the motion, what would you, I mean, or are you against taking action today? That's my question.
No, I'm not against taking action. I just think we need to have it structured in such a way where we're not just gonna give them $500,000 without proof that it costs that much money.
Well, they have to provide invoices. Those invoices are reviewed initially by the city engineer and then ultimately by the finance department before that's ever approved. So is there an additional review that you would think would be necessary, or?
And I think we're done. I think this board needs to say this is all we're gonna spend on this project.
Mhm.
Because the city's telling us this is the most it's gonna cost. And it's gonna meet all the city guidelines. So we need to say, if it costs you more than that, developer, you need to eat it. Which is what happens in the non-public world. If your cost goes over, you get to eat it. So I'm okay with doing it the way you've got it. I don't know that I agree with that change order deal either. The way I read it, it's 25% of the whole contract.
Yeah, that's what
But
we have a legal opinion from the city
Yeah,
that
but-
absolves us from that.
But I don't know. So I'm not gonna say, no, I don't wanna do the deal. I think we just need to make sure we've got proof that that's all they're gonna spend. Or if they spend more than that, if they spend more than that, they need to eat it, in my opinion.
Well,
You
the
said what-
motion was for 500,000, right?
The motion was not to exceed $7 million.
Yeah.
And that's and getting to 7 million is the 500,000. We've already spent 6.5.
Just to be clear,
Chris
you're saying you would prefer some language which says if they go over the 220 something thousand, then they're eating any cost over the.
Well, but if we approve it at 7, we're basically giving them $500,000.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying to your point. I'm just trying to be clear. 'Cause that's what you're saying that you prefer. Because I don't know that I disagree with it. I'm just trying to get clarity on what you're saying. What you would prefer that language, or I guess the motion to be.
I don't know.
Mr. President, would you indulge me for one more minute?
No. So we have a motion and a second. And I guess my question before we take a vote is if there is a problem with the total commitment of $7 million, then I think that should be voiced. And should that number be $6.9 million or $6.8 million or whatever. So does anybody have a comment on that?
Well, how about 675? If we're saying $250,000 is what they wanna spend, then let's do 675.
And what would 25% of 250 be? I can't add this
50,000,
morning.
a little over, right?
6750.
There you go.
So if you put the
62.
fudge factor in at 25%, which is what you're saying you want to put, then you're talking 300,000 instead of 500,000.
So it'd be 6.8.
6.8, and then you've got your 25% in there of the increase, and you're covering your. And if the city says that's all it's going to cost to do to meet their guidelines, then we should be good.
I have no problem amending
So I
amending
would-
to 6.8, if that's what we need to do.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the amendment with a cap of $6.8 million. And are you comfortable with this? Did you second?
Gavin did.
I'll second that.
You're comfortable with that, Gavin? Okay. Have a motion and a second to amend our agreement with a cap of $6.8 million. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes.
No, excuse me. I'm stuttering.
All
It's
right.
early. It's early.
This is going to be on the city council agenda tonight.
That's the only item on our agenda, so we're adjourned. Thank you.